How you doing, guys? I'm Richard.
I'm Greg.
And today we're going to talk about everything you need to know when building a new home. Let's get to it. Guys, how are you today? The big question on everyone's mind, what do you need to know when building a new house? It's very complicated, it's a very complicated topic, and obviously a 10-minute video is not going to cover absolutely everything. We want to try to cover as much as we can in a short period of time because there's a lot to cover. Guys, there is different techniques of building that some people do agree with, some people don't agree with. Do you go with a prefab home? Do you go with a custom home? How much is it going to cost you? How much it should cost you? What you're looking for in warranties, things of that nature. So Greg, you've been in the industry for quite a long time.
Yes.
As you know, in the last 15, 20 years, we're starting to see a lot of prefab homes. What are a lot of the problems that we're starting to see with prefab homes?
Prefab homes are good if you want a general entry-level type of home. Normally, to prefab it, you're basically doing off a kit home system. There's no custom design in it. You're restricted to the size block. The block needs to be level, need good access. There's a lot of things involved in that. When you go to custom built homes, that's for sloping sites and things like that. The kit, like prefab homes, are limited to what you can do.
Look guys, prefab homes, they're cheaper because you've got a sort of, when you choose that house from the showroom or from the, they got the display homes.
Yes.
You can't really vary from that so much, and it becomes very expensive if you vary, because the way the builder has put his pricing structure together, he's allowed for absolutely everything to the T. Everyone knows what needs to be done, and they do so many of them. It's like a person that's done the same jigsaw puzzle 100 times over. It just happens very quickly, very efficiently, and that's why they can charge you the lower prices. The problem that I have with prefab homes, and the most important point that I would like to make, and this is purely my opinion, I'm not sure if Greg shares the same opinion, I absolutely hate prefab trusses. I cannot stand them, I refuse to use them. That might change over time because people don't want to pay for a conventional carpenter to come out and the time, the money, the expense that it costs to do things on site. The reason why I do not like trusses is because they pretty much use every single wall in their house as a load-bearing wall. They're using thinner material, spanned over longer distances, and it's all done by an engineering software. It's computer generated.
It's on the outside walls. Yeah, cut and pitch roof means you use internal supports as well. The reason you go for most people do a truss roof is because it's quick. It's simple. It's prefab off site. You bring it in, stand it up, put it up, and away you go. Mm-hmm. Downside, if it's not done properly, it starts to settle down. It's up to the amount of weight, engineering details, and how it's put together. You're really restricted to what you can and can't do in some areas. And there's a very part of that. You can get them in metal, you can get them in composite, you can get them in timber only. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Guys, look, when it comes to prefab homes, like Greg said, if it's done correctly, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best, it's okay. But just be aware that the money that you save now, you will spend in the next 5 to 10 years fixing structural repairs, fixing little things and pieces. I'm going to run through, I'm actually going to show you guys around my property. My house is a prefab home. It was built in 2001, and I want to go through, and we'll go through and see, what the signs are and what you're looking for. Guys, with big companies, big home companies, they're even getting to the point now where they're dropping in bathrooms, as a built unit, and they're dropping in just connected up. I don't agree with that. It has its place in the market because the land value in Australia is so expensive. The other thing you want to look at is how to build your home. Double brick veneer. You've got really high-end homes which are double brick veneer. Guys, it doesn't really matter. In Australia, I get a lot of people that say we want double brick. Double brick doesn't really matter. Actually, if anything, double brick makes it harder to modify and repair and extend and renovate in the future. We don't have any hurricanes in Australia. We don't have any tornadoes. We don't have any earthquakes. So you don't need that. The main thing you want to look at is insulation. Okay, the quality of the build.
The insulation is, I would say, related to your power bills. Insulation, windows selection is very important. all the other cosmetic stuff you see, it's all good. But if you can't afford to run the house and your power bill's around about the $1,200, $1,500 a quarter, it's going to become very expensive.
That's right, guys. Like you know, you guys are watching if you're following our videos, our structural rectification project in George's Hall, they only had 4mm glass. We've replaced it with 6.25mm, which is just before you know, your commercial 10mm, which becomes very expensive. And the customer's already telling us the difference in the temperature in the house is significant. It costs more to repair that later on than it does at that time. The other things with prefab homes, like for example, if you've got a pillar in the middle of a double garage, okay? When you're building a custom home, removing that pillar, easy, walk in the park. When you're talking about prefab home, I've heard of customers who spend $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 just to remove one post because the whole building changes, the whole building structure changes.
Yes, you need laminated beams, LVLs, different things like that to support, or I-beams that actually support AV openings. Yep. All this needs to be accounted for. But when you're doing these project type homes, they're normally based on a formula to cut the cost.
Yeah. And guys, look, I'm not talking bad about project homes. They have their place. Especially with the land value being said, what's an average land value in Australia? If you want to buy 600 square meters, even out west, it's costing you $500,000 these days, minimum. So you're paying a lot of money for the land, which is why you need the prefab homes to exist. The thing that I've got a problem with is we need to make sure that these prefab homes are done exactly how they should be. You've got a lot of prefab homes that are using metal studs inside instead of timber, which I have no problems with. Like for example, waffle pot slabs. I do not like waffle pot slabs, but that's just my personal opinion. Yes. But that's why if I was to build the same house for you, custom, as you know, someone like Mustard and Holmes would, as a prefab, I would be almost double the price of them because the amount of work and materials and labor that's involved. But more than likely, the house that I build will last you 20, 30, 40, 50 years with no issues, whereas the prefab home will start requiring repairs as little as 5 to 7 years later.
One of these project homes are based on a entry level to market to get your maximum amount of bang for your buck, for want of better words, the maximum size house for the dollar you're putting out. Trouble is in doing that, if you're going for the minimum you got to do, it's really there's no building insurance in it.
That's right. Guys, not only that, you're getting cheaper quality kitchens. A lot of your products, it depends. Look, you ask the company you're going with, are the products coming from overseas? Like for example, we've seen a lot of kitchens being done out of chipboard. Brand new houses, the customers just spend $1 million, kitchens made out of chipboard instead of Formica or HMR, right? The quality of the fittings and fixtures and fittings is cheaper. The gyprocking is not done properly. And I will go through my place and you can see that, simple as that. You can see when you go with the cheap and technically they're not doing anything wrong.
No, they're meeting the standards at the time, but when we went through the waterproofing on previous videos, it's so important, but that was never done. Like it was done to a standard, but wasn't done to a good enough standard to guarantee no leaks. That's
right. Guys, you know, we've all seen the news articles, you know, in Homebush, where you've got 50, 60 buildings that are multiple stories high that are unfit for people to live in. We've all seen the news articles. Look, like I said, we're not talking bad about these builders. The problem is, it's the supply and demand. The problem is the cost of the land. The problem is trying to bring costs down so the builder can make money and still deliver a somewhat reasonable, a project or a property for you to live in. You just need to understand, you go cheap, you just expect to spend that little bit of money instead of paying it up front, you're gonna spend it over the years, extending, renovating, fixing things as you go along, okay? A few other things, look, when it comes to custom houses, look, a lot of the high-end houses are custom. We've seen renovations, you know, up in the North Shore, renovations, just an extension and a renovated house, could cost you $1.5–2 million, depending on the fixtures and fittings at the end of the day, okay? Choose the builder, look them up, look at the review, make sure they've been in business for quite a long time. Do your necessary checks, look at fair trading, see if they've had any complaints. You can actually check if builders have had complaints or any bankruptcy issues or anything like that in the past. Do your due diligence, check it out. Custom made homes is not going to be for everyone. It's as simple as that. Most people are not going to be able to afford a custom home. That's why sometimes it's better to buy an older style home. We see houses that are 100, 120 80, 90, 70 years old, the older houses, structurally they're fantastic. With the exception of maybe some sagging or settling, they're fantastic. The hardwood timber that they used to use, we no longer use. Our nail guns don't even shoot through the hardwood timber because everything has changed.
Yes.
This is the line that Australia is going down, and we have to sustain. So otherwise, your average house price in Australia will be 1.8 to $2 million. It's as simple as that. Hopefully we've given you as much information as we possibly can in this video. We will do sequels and different topics in this, updates and things like that. If you have any ideas, guys, please share them with us in the comments below. You can email us info@yesican.com.au. Visit our website www.yesican.com.au. Contact us 1-800-300-YES, 1-800-300-937. Please, guys, share, subscribe, and thank you. And until next time, guys, don't forget, at Yes I Can, if we can't do it, no one can. And our second motto is a customer for life. And until next time, thank you very much. See you then.
See you.